I will see you guys in the dark.
I'll start by giving you some information about our relationship and what caused us to break up. I'll call her crazy, as that's what she is. About 2 years ago or so, Crazy started calling and texting me after we had broken up for close to 6 months. At first, I just decided I was going to ignore her because I knew if I let her back in, things would just go to hell in a handbasket eventually. However, one night I had been drinking and got this lame sentimental feeling and decided to answer one of her texts. That was all it took. She started coming over, and eventually we ended up back together. We were together for close to 7 months before I finally got fed up with her and kicked her out of my apartment. She was physically abusive. If I didn't let her use my car whenever she wanted, give her money when she claimed she needed it, or basically do whatever she asked, she would have a tantrum like a 3-year-old and cause more drama than any one person could endure. During our time together, she managed to get herself in some real trouble after she beat some dude over the head with a beer mug at a local bar we'd frequent. What really ended the relationship was when she started using drugs and was bringing that stuff into my home. I tried getting her help, but she turned it around on me as if I was trying to change her. So I gave up and told her mother she needed to get her daughter and get her out of my place before I called the cops and had her removed myself. I told her we were done and I never wanted to hear from her again. At this point, I had given her multiple opportunities to change, but she refused. It made it seem like I was the problem. Whatever, I was done. The problem was, she wasn't. The day I finally ended it was the beginning of her tormenting. She started her attack by creating a Craigslist ad under the escorts section with a fake picture and my phone number as a contact. I received over 500 plus calls and text messages from random dudes looking to get some. This lasted for about a week before everything calmed down. If that wasn't enough, the same night while my phone is blowing up, I see the security guard from my apartment complex nosing around my car, shining his flashlight in the windows. I go outside and ask the guy, "Is there a problem?" He responds, "I got a report that this car here is abandoned and needs to be removed." I'm just like, that's my car, and I live in the apartment right above here. I ended up having to get my title and a driver's license to keep this guy from calling a towing company and having my things removed. The next day rolls around, still getting a massive amount of texts and calls through my whole workday, which was really pissing me off. I get home after work and sit down to try and relax when there is a knock on the door. I look out through the peephole and see some dude I've never met before standing outside. I don't answer. I wait for him to leave and then look out my balcony and see this guy on his phone standing right out front. I yelled out to him, "Hey, can I help you?" He responds, "Is Crazy here?" I'm just like, "No, that's my ex, and I kicked her out the other day. Maybe check her mom's house where she's staying." I end up talking to this guy further. Turns out that she set up a dinner date with him and gave the guy my address as an address to where she is staying. That night, another 3 guys showed up looking to have dinner dates with her. I had work the next day, and while I'm there, she starts sending me texts, pictures of the outside of my apartment with messages like, "It's quite breezy in the apartment with your patio door open, isn't it? And I hope your dog finds his way back home. He got out." So, needless to say, this is stressing me out. I'm almost positive at this time it's bullcrap, but there's always that chance Crazy actually broke in. I got home later to find my apartment the way I left it. The whole time, I'm ignoring her, hoping this will come to an end soon. Nope, it only escalates further. Once again, after work, I have a knock at my door while I'm watching TV. I check the peephole, and there are 2 police officers standing outside. I'm just thinking, now what the hell, as I'm opening the door, and I'm greeted by 2 relatively large gentlemen in uniform, with crappy looks on their faces. I'm just like, yes? Can I help you? The officer asks me if I live here. Yes. Is there a problem, officer? He replies, only if you considered touching a young woman a problem. Can you provide your whereabouts for the last 2 hours? Well, I just got home from work like 45 minutes ago. What do you mean touching? Who told you that? This woman really stepped up her game, calling in a false police report and getting the cops to come question me about it. That was pretty bold of her. The cops respond, I'm not at liberty to provide that information, but will need for you to provide some proof that you weren't in the Galt area between the hours of 2 and 5 this afternoon. Now I'm actually starting to get really mad, knowing that I'm 100% innocent of this alleged touching. And so I kind of get an attitude, which didn't really help my situation at the time, but I calmly respond, if you want to go to my place of work and verify that I was there until 4, that will prove I had nothing to do with this. And furthermore, the person of accusing me of this crime are going to arrest them for filing a false police report, right? And what I heard next floored me. The cop says, I'm not so sure it's a false report. Your car is still warm, and you look guilty. Of course my car is still warm. I just drove home from work less than an hour ago, Einstein. Some freaking awesome detective work, Chief. They left, but before doing so, told me not to leave my apartment, as they would be back if my story didn't check out. Well, they never came back, and I called the police station multiple times to get an update on what they figured out. And you know, what they told me. No police report had been filed, and there was no record of any police being dispatched to my address on the day in question. I was seriously about to lose my shit. How can she continue to do this with no consequences whatsoever? Mind you, I'm still getting texts and calls. Less than in the beginning, but they are still coming in. I think it was like a week or so, and things went quiet. Minus the calls and texts, but even those weren't all that heavy anymore. I started to think that she was done with me, and I might be able to live my life normally, drama-free. Nope, I was wrong. I stop at my mailbox after work, about a week or so after the whole touching situation, and receive a letter from the post office that said I had changed my address, but if this was incorrect, to contact them to stop the mail forwarding. So I call them and tell them I haven't moved, nor have I filed out a change of address form, so there is no reason to forward my mail elsewhere. They assure me that my mail will continue coming to my current address, and that I had nothing to worry about. Well, they were full of it, because I didn't get a piece of mail for 2 months after that day. It took 3 phone calls and 2 visits to the local post office to get that stuff rectified. Now, had it not been me getting any mail, I wouldn't have been that mad about it, but once my mail was forwarded to the address where Crazy was getting it, she used that as an opportunity to get all my account information for the electric, gas, phone, cable, car, and banking information. I have extra security set up on my bank account, so that was safe, and my car payments weren't going away, but she managed to shut off my cable, my electric, and my gas. I also got phone calls from my phone company stating that changes would be applied to my account if I hadn't called. I was mad. I ended up paying an extra $300 in fees to get my gas and electric bills put back into my name, mainly because my apartment complex ended up paying the balances on both accounts and charged me for that. This was getting to be all too much. I tried calling the cops, and they just asked if I had gotten a restraining order. I explained that I tried, but she continued to evade being served, and after a period of time, if the person isn't served, the restraining order is no good. The response was, "We can't help you." Wow, thank you. Can't help me, but you follow up on a false police report, and then ignore that like it never happened? Gotta love the cops out here. However, I got a break. If you remember, she was arrested for smacking some dude over the head multiple times with a beer mug, right? Well, she finally had gotten convicted and was given 3 months in jail for it. 3 months? Are you kidding me? There was no way I could go out and beat some guy with a glass object all willy-nilly and not go away for at least a year, if not longer. But somehow, she squeaked by with ease. Either way, that meant peace and quiet for at least that period of time. I was watching her status in jail online from time to time to make sure she was still locked up when one day I checked and saw she had been released 2 days prior. In my head, I screamed as loud as humanly possible and started to get paranoid about this girl and what she might do next. Weeks went by and nothing. Finally, she's done. Given up. Or so I thought. A few weeks ago, it started with a text. A picture of a pregnancy test that showed positive. It came from a number I'd never seen, so I wasn't sure who it was, but I had my suspicions. Figuring it was her, I texted back saying, "Ha ha 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 ha! Finally, any ties to you I had are broken. Have fun with the poor schmuck who knocked you up." I got a response, "You obviously don't know who this is," which was true and really got me thinking, considering I had talked to a few other women since being with the ex. Either way, I ignored it and just hoped it would go away. Over the next week, after that, I kept getting texts. Only that one picture, nothing else. Once again, I kept ignoring until I got another text. This time it was a picture of a woman holding her stomach, showing that she was pregnant, minus the head. Immediately after that, another text saying, "I guess we know who the fertile one out of the two of us is." That there told me it was the ex, as we actually tried to have a kid, but never were able to. So I responded back, "Awesome. Have a good life with whatever schmuck you managed to get to impregnate you." Thankfully it wasn't me. "Now kindly, go away." She replied back with stupid insults that are irrelevant to the story, and I just ignored it, figuring she'd done what she wanted. Rubbed in the fact that I could possibly be sterile. Which to me, that is a win-win. I can't have kids, and now she's got other stuff to deal with that'll keep her from bothering me. A week or so went by, and it's last week Thursday. I am the type of person that tends to do stuff the last minute, and when it comes to waking up in the morning to get to work, I sleep as late as I can, so when I get to my car, I need to leave right away, or I could end up being late. So I'm headed to my car and notice something stuck to it. There are 3 magnets on my car with stupid slogans. I think one said something about being a cat lady or something. I really didn't pay attention as I peeled them off because I needed to get to work. What I did notice is someone super glued them to my car, so it wasn't easy getting them off. And I still have remnants of magnet on my car. That wasn't the worst of it, and to explain the second part, I must first tell a short story. I explained how crazy got into using drugs. Well, one day, when I allowed her to use my car, she went to meet her brother in his apartment. They got into an argument. He owed her some drugs. He didn't have it on him. She thought he did, though. In turn, the brother wanted to leave. In an attempt to stop him, the dude used my car to barricade him in. And when she did, he got out and kicked my driver's side window, and then got back into his truck and proceeded to run into my car until she moved out of the way. So, I didn't have a driver's side window for the longest time. He didn't have insurance, and is a freaking tweaker, so getting money for him to fix the window was pretty much impossible. I'm also lazy and do things at the last minute, so I never got it fixed. The weather in California allows me to drive around with a broken window and not worry about the interior of my car getting ruined. Anyway, back to last week Thursday. I now have magnets stuck to my car, and I'm about to get in when I see approximately 5 pounds of dog crap with open condoms just chilling on my driver's seat. You've got to be freaking kidding me. So I think to myself as I start to look for something quick to clean this stuff up. Literally, out of my car. There was a plastic bag on the ground, so I grabbed it, and thankfully, It was dry, so I was able to get it quick and get it off my seat. I'm sure I still ended up sitting on some of it, but I didn't have the time to freaking waste, so I already was late and needed to get to work. I got there and told my boss. Thankfully, he's a cool guy and let me take the first half hour of work to clean it out. Needless to say, I have replaced the driver's side window on my car. Now I wait. Wonder what the hell this girl has in store for me next. My guess? Something even more messed up. Now, I'm going to get 2 questions. The first, why haven't I changed my phone number? And the second, why haven't I moved? To answer the first, I have too many people that know my current number, and I am not going to let this girl win by inconveniencing myself and changing it. Second, I plan on moving, but I don't have the greatest rental history, so breaking my lease wouldn't help that in any means. So I'm sticking it out and hoping crazy just goes away. My brother met his girlfriend a year ago when he was 17, and she was 16. For a little while, they seemed like they had a great relationship. My brother, Alan, and Jamie were always happy together, and Jamie made a real effort to get to know the rest of the family. However, I noticed something was off whenever my brother wanted to go out with his friends without Jamie, and she would have a complete meltdown, screaming about how he didn't love her, and how much she does for him, etc. This happened all the time, so eventually he started spending more time with her to avoid a conflict. She even got annoyed at my mother's funeral because he wasn't paying enough attention to her. Like, our mom just passed away. Chill out. Things started to get worse with her, accusing him of hitting her whenever he would try to deflect her from punching him in the face. My brother has some mild anxiety problems, and quilt about our mother's passing away. Since they weren't on the best of terms before she went, he uses Xanax or bars to try to self-medicate, which she knows and often would pick fights with him about to use his actions against him later on, or try to tell the school he was on something to get him in trouble when he didn't want to have anything to do with her. Eventually, Alan couldn't take it anymore and ended the relationship a few days ago. A quick note. Our glass back sliding door is pretty weak. If you yank at it hard enough, you can force it open despite it being locked, unless we put a key in. The other day, she showed up at 5 in the morning, banging on the door and demanding to be let in. My dad got after her, and she left. This morning, however, she broke in through the back door and got into bed with my brother, who slept through all of this. My dad found her and told her to leave, or he'd just call the cops on her. This afternoon, I heard my brother and his friend get back in from school. All was well until once again, Jamie broke in through the back door, as she had taken the key this morning. Alan's friend stopped her from getting into his room, and I told her to leave and not come back again, or I was going to call the police. After she had left, my dad came back with 3 new keys made from the back door. My brother showed us her claims of cutting herself, which we reversed imaged and found it immediately, along with the fact that she didn't have any cuts on her arms. It's gotten so bad that my brother doesn't want to go to school since she follows him around and tries to get him to talk to her. And when that doesn't happen, she gets him in trouble. Jamie, I hope you get out of our lives and get the help you desperately deserve. Hey there, stalkers of the night. I wanted to thank you for 900 subs and beyond. Don't forget, 1,200 subs and I have a massive face reveal ready for all of you. Also, I made a Patreon for those who are interested in supporting this channel. The link is in the video's description.
I will see you guys in the dark.